And I was speaking to two or three, and then I found one of your videos that you did with a client from Canada. And that made me kind of think, well, these guys seem quite good. Let me get in touch with them. And so I had a meeting with Joseph and Bob,
Awesome.
and they just made me feel very confident about the whole thing. And after that, I didn't have any doubts about any of it.
Hello, everyone out there in the world. My name is Salon Phillips. I'm with Remus Law Group, working with Visa to America, and we have a very special guest with a very special success story today. Mister, tell us your name. I don't want to say your name. I want the world to hear you say it.
Of course, my name is Mr. Pavan Power,
Alrighty, and where are you from, Mr. Pawar?
from London, UK.
Alrighty, and tell us your story. What's your background? Where were you living? How did you get in touch with Visa to America and Remus Law Group?
I'm originally from London, well, from the UK generally, born and bred here, lived here my whole life. Um, I'm obviously my parents' background, they're from India, but they emigrated here a long time ago. Um, so yeah, I've pretty much my whole family's been here almost three, four generations anyway. But
Okay.
I found Remus Law Group through a video on YouTube where it was telling a similar story to this about a truck driver that came over from Canada and who didn't have nothing more but to praise both you guys and Visa to America about the whole application process of an E2.
Okay, so some point in your life, you had a desire to come to the United States and start a business.
Yeah, well, I wanted to always start a business from when I was young, and I always wanted to kind of if live in the US. And at some point in time, about a year ago, those two merged together. So luckily for me, and the opportunity came knocking. And when it did, I knew I had to find the right people to go to be able to help me fulfill that dream.
Okay, so you had the dream first, and then what made you start looking online to make you run across one of our videos?
You know what it is, Salam? There's a lot of lawyers out there that do this application, and I haven't always had the best. Me and my family and friends have not always had the best experience when it comes to lawyers. There's a lot of lawyers, and a lot of them make a lot of promises. So I really wanted to do my homework on this and my due diligence and work out who was the right person for me. And I was speaking to two or three, and then I found one of your videos that you did with a client from Canada. And that made me kind of think, well, these guys seem quite good. Let me get in touch with them. And so I had a meeting with Joseph and Bob,
Awesome.
and they just made me feel very confident about the whole thing. And after that, I didn't have any doubts about any of it.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Now, did you know that you wanted to do a trucking business, or were you up in the air about the type of business that you wanted?
So currently, I'm actually a trucker here. I work for a company here. I have been for the last 3 years. I have a lot of family and friends in North America, both Canada and the US, that do trucking, and they've been talking to me for years about doing it there because the job, the money, everything is a lot better there than what it is here. And it's always something. It's always something that I wanted to do ever since I was a kid. You know,
Okay.
drive a big truck, drive across country, especially a country like the US. You know, you go from coast to coast. It's everything's so different. So, you know, that's how this came upon it. It just naturally occurred.
Okay. And the dream of starting your own business, was that difficult? What was the process like?
Yeah, this is technically my first business. It's difficult. The whole process, the whole visa process has been very difficult, very challenging at times. Um, but you guys made it a lot easier because you were filling me in on all of the information that I didn't know. I have the financial backing thanks to my family for that. So it was really just kind of putting all the pieces together.
Okay. What's the name of your business so everyone can know?
George Transportation Incorporated.
Awesome. Is there a website too?
There is a website, www.georgetransportation.com.
Okay. And Visa to America helped you get the business and do all the paperwork for that?
Yeah. They did all the licensing, they did the website, they did the phone number, they even did my purchase agreements for my stock shares, because I didn't actually, they started the corporation for me, but the original business plan was that I was to buy 60% of my partner's business. And they were the ones that ensured me that that is a more solid way of doing it rather than just starting a trucking business from the ground up with a business that's already been established in California for the last 3 years.
Mhm. So this business that you have now, it's in California?
Yes. So my corporation obviously owns 60% of that corporation, and
I
they're
see.
both situated in California.
Okay. And so that's where you are now, or are you in the UK now?
No, so I'm actually leaving for California in literally 4 weeks' time. So I just obviously had to wrap a few things up here before I was to leave.
Okay. And you've been to the US before?
Many times. It's my favorite holiday destination in the world.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you're excited to come back. That's so awesome to hear, man, that a young
thank
man like
you.
you have a dream and you reach your dream, you coming to the America, starting your own business, a business owner. That's a big deal. And
That's what a lot of people say to me when I tell them. Yeah,
yeah, that's a big deal. There's a lot of Americans who wish they could have their own business and they just don't do it. So I applaud you for that. Now talk to
thank
us
you.
about did you have an interview?
At the consulate, the
Yes.
embassy? Yes, I did. I had
Okay.
that about a
So
month
many
ago.
so many people are afraid of that interview. Can you tell them what that was like?
If they're afraid of that interview, they should be, because the consular officers in there, they are not friendly. And they're not friendly because what I found with most of those interviews that they were conducting is they're not looking at anything but as to why they should reject your application. You have to persuade them that you should be allowed to go to the US. And I understand why, because obviously there's everyone from around the world wants to be in the US. It's not an easy thing to do. Um, Luckily for me, on the day when I was in the embassy, they were conducting about 6 interviews for E2s at that time in the afternoon. They had the door wide open, so all of us that were waiting could actually hear what was going on in the interviews.
Mhm.
Not that we wanted to, but that's just the way they did things. And out of the 6, only 2 of us managed to get E2s and
Wow.
5-year visas. The rest of them all got rejected on the spot.
Wow. Now, how did you feel going into it? Did you feel prepared? Were you nervous?
Everything prepared. I knew I was well prepared, but that still doesn't stop the nerves. Um, Joseph helped me with all of that, in terms of the preparation, and he even gave me a bit of friendly advice and said, "Listen, this is nothing to worry about. If worst comes to worst, we can work something else out." Um, it is nerve wracking, especially when you put so much money up front as well. You have to do the whole investment before you even make the application, as to show them how committed you are.
Yeah.
So, you've got money, you've got people waiting on you. It all rides on that 20-minute interview. And if it all goes well, which in my case it did, you know, that person can be prepared to spend the rest of their life there.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's very awesome. And you hit on something that most firms won't do. And I'll just say it here so everyone could know that if you did not get accepted, we would have done it all again for you with no extra charge.
Yeah.
We're so confident that everyone is well prepared. We offer that. And you was able to knock it out the first time. And again, congratulations to you.
Thanks to you guys, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
If you're ever in the DC area when you're driving cross country, give me a call so we can meet in person.
Absolutely, 100%.
All righty, my man. Thank you so much for today.
You too, Salon. Thank you so much. Yeah,
All right, take care.
you too. Bye bye.